Hello there everyone, I'm in the summer house. The place I'm staying, there's lots of stuff in here as you can see. And I was just organising some papers when I came across a book of poems that I wrote. Probably between the ages of 16 and 18. I called it Let in the Light. And I've always loved these poems. I used to write a lot of poetry, and I thought I would just read some. I'll read some to you. Okay. So, bear in mind that I'm going to be 40 this year. So, this is a fair old time ago, okay? At least 20 years. So I find these very insightful. So this one's called Dancing in the Desert. It looks like this on the page. There's some coffee marks there. So this is a rhyming poem. Dancing in the Desert. Emblazoned in the setting red, a flaming scarlet lion head danced on the sand where the air was dry, while below in the valley rang a tribal cry. Tangerine ribbons streak a lemon sky that was hot and parched by its fiery eye. Veils of honey line the rumbering land, which, like eels of flesh, is stroked by an imaginary hand. The sun's rays bar this prison that extends past mortal sight, and the rigid rips of sunshine are diffused with rainbow light. Again, the sound is wailing through the hollow metal air, and the blackened scent of madness is the perfume that I wear. The sun has baked my sugar pores and heats my syrup hair, and I am moving on the fragments of a life I dreamed to share. The screams escape a thirsty throat. They thirst for lost romance, so I rave and burn in the lion's sun, and in this final madness dance. Nice, isn't it? It's full of colours, light. Yeah, it just takes me to, a place I remember. A point in time I remember very well. Let me see. There's another one which I thought was quite interesting. I remember writing this one as well. I was sat by the riverbank in Chepstow. It's called To Simply Be. And also, this one has a rhyming pattern too. I'd like to see the world in its youthful finery, gaze at the river with wise patience and memory, have a warm hand and a kind smile to guide and protect me. In a slow and quiet world, I would, with company, like to simply be. As music flows in modern melodies that I cannot hear, as the words trickle past upon the breeze my withered ear, my eyes will sink into the muddy river that I love because it is not clear. And despite my agedness and oblivion to sound, I will love that you are near. If my hands become enveloped in a fragile paralysis, and I battle to grasp the pen to continue the rhyme, if my bones rub against one another as though they become lonely when the heat of age melts their bonding grime, I will try to laugh in my struggle rather than rage and cry, because I do not see an elderly effort to live in my ever-young eyes as a crime. I find that quite pertinent now. Oops. Yeah, so I wrote these when I was sort of 17, 18. Actually, 16, 17, 18. And I was feeling most impassioned. This is a favourite of mine too, and I like the way it looks on the page. Okay. I love your stillness. That's the title, but it's also the first line. I love your stillness, the way you watch with placid eyes the world go by. I watch you breathe the air I use. It is precious when it leaves your lips, a comfort when it feels my skin, tragic when it says goodbye. Life is music with your wine, a crimson song and a joyful movement on the vine that fills your glass with dancing red. Laughter is soft that bubbles from your heart. It floats to a world waiting beside me, and I am hoping to hear your laugh again. I want to capture the sound and replay your happiness to nurture my own. You protect me from harm, stretched arms to block out the enemies curl around me. Keep me warm, touch my heart. Touch my heart, take a slice home to eat and have me grow inside you. Or hold me against your amber chest so I can seep into your blood. You will fill me through the hours. I will stop the cold and heat your angel flesh with blissful summer. Alone I see hot kisses and sad tears under bridges. I can see the sound, the light, the scent of love, lust and heaven in my mind. I lock it in to relive my happiness. Should I do another one? I'm enjoying this. Which one? This is an interesting one. This is called I Am the Fly. It looks like this on the page. I am the fly, throwing fits on the back of an ox, dancing in the forest of bristled hair and losing myself on its lumbering body, drinking the sweat that rains upwards. I am the cockroach, spilling my brain on a dusty floor that soaks up my thoughts, and I keep reeling. I host the rat that gnaws on my tongue, tunneling down a pink-ribbed throat and nesting in a sponge-lung chamber. I am the soil worm struggling in the dark, crushed by rocks on every side, and my malleable skin tears as I strain to reach upwards like Tantalus, slithering towards decency. Let me see what else I can read to you. Oh yeah, this is the one. This is the, I suppose, the title poem, "Let in the Light," which has always been a theme in my life. You know, trying to bring light to others, shed light on situations, illuminate the way. You know, there's something about light and darkness that's of particular interest to me, but mainly the light. It's called Unleash. Let in the light. Let in the light that drowns the darkness with splashes, kisses and curls of brightness, jesting in the open air and playful. Warm freshness wraps yellow streams on canvas leaves and spiky lemongrasses. Against the glass buzz static flies in shocking coils of madness, but the drone sinks into the mellow light of a soft and fresh spring day. Noon sun is glowing behind a budded tree, whose stillness, glued to the blue-white sky, reaches to eternity, climbing the air, riding the season, delayed in time. Let in the light. let seep in the amber midst amongst birdsong that would not reach my ear if it did not shine. Open the blinds to the sun-soaked outside, and let it pour in like wine to a house that is crystal. The shadows will melt, the flies then will die, but let in the light. Let in the light, the crisp flavour of fruit, the pink scent of spring that is ripe and divine. I remember writing that in the conservatory at my parents' house. There's this sort of dappled light that always shines into the house, and a eucalyptus tree, and it's just beautiful. It's funny how the wood pigeons are kind of cooing. Yeah, let's see if there's any others that I want to read. Oh, I could read all of them. Okay, here's one. This is called A Shiver That Warms My Skin. Dwelling in my fingers, residing in my palms, is a shiver that warms my skin. Sheathed eyes are not protected from one seraphic sight. A growing amber lunacy brings repose to second life, as actual as urgent, and as mutual is this. Here lies the body of one forgotten girl, but this girl will not forget. She lives, ecstatic in her death. 1,000 dreams in a few short hours. The sweetened auroral call is an angel to her face. To glowing life she clambers, beckoned by sublimity. Dwelling in my fingers, residing in my palms was a shiver that warmed my skin. But now my lips are quaking. There are tremors in my thighs. A tempest surges on my tongue, churning up my words. I wake, see you again in life, and die. It's all very dramatic, isn't it? I've noticed the word amber. You know, there's obviously something to that word that means a lot to me, and I know what the various significances are. But again, it's to do with light and colour. Here's one which is kind of about the idea of oppression and slavery. And I think when I wrote it, I must have been like learning about kind of American history, that kind of thing, reading some Maya Angelou, you know. It's been around that kind of time. So this is called A Cycle of Hate. There is somewhere the soul of some unfettered slave who has cowered in the shadow of a white nave, with blistered hands and burnished limbs, whose heart, as the days pass, slowly dims, till its singing motion of pumping stops, and the leaden scythe in his weak grip drops to the parched and grating ground. A captive life expires as amber dawn greets day. To the hostile golden air, a black man's life has slipped away. But the voices call, my angel, come. A gilded heaven lies above your wilted body and those pain-filled eyes. Southern ribbon sunsets stretch along the driven land in shades of rose and lilac, but the fields rest now, unmanned. There are out there unnumbered souls of forgotten men and women who have cowered in the blackish shadows of white naves, with blistered hands and burnished limbs, whose hearts, while the years passed, slowly dim, as the singing expression of unity stops, and the lead-like burden of freedom drops, and the cruelty begins again. at this point in my life, I was obviously feeling things deeply, imagining things actively, and wanting to get my thoughts and ideas and images down onto paper. I used to find it very therapeutic, and I'd just be drawn to writing. I still am, but now I'm sort of writing more song lyrics, but it's all an outlet. Right, let's see. Okay, here's another one. Okay, this is called When I See Only You. A lot of these are like love, inspired by love or loss, or both. When I am crazed, I see only you. When beauty touches all the points of my fingers and uncandied words reel in my head, it is then that I'm crazed, and then that I see only you. In darkness or light, I feel only you. Where I can feel the contours of a body that clings to my waist and smooths my back, I see what is behind you, but I feel only you. Along busy streets I wander with some aim that needs attention, but might not be attended, because I only search for you. In other faces, bodies, clothes and voices, I find similarities and differences. I clutch at the similarities, discard the differences, and resume my search. And though something needs attention, I search for only you. When I want for something, it is wanted for us, to beautify further the existence we call together. It is to feed and clothe us, to remember forever. And when I want for something, that want lasts forever. I want only you. I want only us. I love only you. I'm really enjoying reading these. Let me see. What can I finish with? I'm not going to read that one. I like Dancing in the Desert. I might read that again. I mean, I don't want to read them all just in case. Well, just in case, it affects the chances of me publishing them at some point. I mean, there's loads here. These are just the ones from when I was like 16, 17, 18. I don't want to read anything too personal. I'm trying to think of which one to end on. There's one about, somewhere there's something about like photos. Let's see if I can find it, because just had a notification on my phone. Somewhere there's something about photos, and I always used to like that one. Where is it? Well, actually, there's a few. Oh, here it is. This is called Other People's Albums. This is back in the time when, like, I was taking lots of photos. I had like a, I get my photos printed, and at one point I had like a Polaroid camera. That was fun. There are fragments of your soul in pictures in other people's albums. I imagine when I feel sadness, the changing, unposed expressions that you press at the air. When I'm doing other things, the routine of silence and noise being broken by sleep and life, I am jealous of other people's cameras. which snap you to their film when I long to snatch you to my arms. As little pieces of you stick to sheets of memory, splinters of my heart move around the world for other people to view on shiny paper. And when I am honest and fight through envy, my eyes well with pride and gratitude, then cool my cheeks with tears because, though you are for other people's eyes and other people's memories, you were for my snatching arms and splintered heart. Now that gives you an insight into my age, doesn't it? Because this is actually when people printed their photos and kept them in actual albums, tangible ones. Yes. I mean, I could read all of them, but I mean, I have spoken for nearly 21 minutes. Yes, so there you go. Oh, and I've got one more, right? Okay, one more. Okay, maybe two. Let's just do this one first. This is called I Have. And it's got a, little kind of repetitive, there's some structure and repeated patterns in the structure, which I find that interesting. I have cried for you. I have cried for you on many nights when the poetry of other bleeding hearts has run dry and can no longer whisper soothing sounds of sadness. I have lied. I have lied for you to my sinking soul as I ease into a chair, convinced you are right and say you're coming back. Then I sleep and dream of your lazy smile that never failed to shoot a musicless sorrow up to a tuneful gladness. I have died. I have died for you when my body folded up to save space for those who breathe. It is far removed from the strumming cheer where it first saw life, and now, with creases, sits alone to endure the gloom in a kind of patient madness. Patient madness. Yeah, I was feeling things very deeply. This one here, I mean, I read these, it might not mean anything to anyone else, but it really takes me back to completely to the moment. Yeah. So this is called The Thief of Sleep, and then I think I'll call it a day because 25 minutes would be quite enough poetry. Okay. I wanted not to lose you to the silent thief of sleep. He came to take your tired eyes and left warmth for me to keep. I clung, for not did I perceive the sights of your repose, where safely we were swimming in the petal of a rose. In half an inch, or maybe less, we stood amid its dew. You bathed and coiled in the tiny pool. I threw a kiss at you. As balmy fragrance cloaked our limbs, arresting modesty, we sank into the blushing flower in pink felicity. It seemed to be there glorious, the rose scent, our elation, until the blossom puckered, whence came scarlet indignation. The pool of rose had vanished. I searched but could not find, and realized that the joy we knew existed solely in your mind. I did not rest nor sleep that night, though still I was beguiled. Each night I tried to pierce sleep and failed. It leaves me wild. Right, I think that's enough for now, isn't it? So there you go, everyone. That's my very impromptu little poetry reading from Let in the Light, my coffee and mud-stained 20-something-year-old script. What's the word? Dossier? I can't think of the word. Anyway, there it is. Manuscript. Although it's not really handwritten. All of these were handwritten and then I typed them up. But somewhere I've got a huge box of poems. It's overflowing. And I've written quite a lot in the 23, 22 years since. So maybe I'll start delving into those. Anyway, thanks for listening, watching, if you have listened and watched. let me know if you like these. Please feel free to leave a comment. And yeah, have a good day, everyone. Be back in touch soon. Ciao, ciao.